Welcome, everyone. This is Pineapple Noodles, and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. And this week we have with us Terry Adwin.
Hi.
Sans Winda.
Hello.
And our special guest for sorry, Arandis, you're not a guest.
Hey, I'll take it. Hey, everybody.
Welcome back, Arandis.
It's good to have you back.
Thank you. Thanks. Good to be back.
Hopefully you'll be able to be back on a more regular basis now.
Yes, real life has finally settled down, and I can breathe again. So it should be more regular now. Thanks for being patient with me.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. And now it's time for us to head into the second Bull Roar update. So we had a second preview, and there were Update 23, preview number 2, release notes, and feedback thread, of course, as usual. And Tier 2 difficulty is now available on Update 23 instances. I believe they said that the Tier 3 might not be ready until, I believe, a point update after it, if I remember correctly. So
well, they're still trying to find the balance in Tier 2.
Yeah, well, yes, there is that. Right, until you have the balance of Tier 2, it's not even worth trying Tier 3.
Right.
So therefore, Tier 2 had its first look at on there, and I'm sure there was a ton of feedback responding to it.
There were a bunch of complaints that it was too easy.
Well, there is also that. And gear from loot boxes has been adjusted. The highest base level that they can drop now is level 370 in comparable gear, with the chance to bump to 5 item levels, whatever that means. I presume the people who really follow gear have a better understanding what that means than I do. And if you do see a piece that is higher than this in a loot box, it is a bug and should be reported. So, usual Bull Roar stuff. Crafted potions had their power increased. I'm sure
by a lot.
By a lot?
Crafted potions are apparently restoring more power than people have in their pools. Based on one of the screenshots further in the thread, yes.
That's kind of awesome.
Talk about being OP.
Yeah, so the power potions are basically restoring about half what the morale potions are. And yeah, it's like more power than people actually have. It was kind of interesting.
Actually, I'm looking
so maybe
at
those people
this.
Need more power.
No, actually, I'm looking at this. It looks like a bug because it says it is on use plus 182,243.
Good gracious.
Yes. Like I said, it's more power than people actually have in their pools.
Yes.
Wow.
I don't think that's less than the... Am I reading this
No,
wrong? That does not seem to be less than the Athelos
There's
ones.
there's an extra 0 in there. Okay. So it's actually 5 times more than the Athelos essences.
That's what I was thinking I was seeing. Okay.
Alright. Yeah. I have a feeling that was an error and that is going to be probably divided by 10.
That would make sense.
At least.
You could knock off the end numbers and it would be more in the right range.
Yeah.
Yeah, like nobody's even got power pools that high.
182,000?
I don't even know if it's possible to get a power pool up that high.
I can't think how you would do it right now. That would be kind of impressive, but probably a really broken build if you tried it.
I guess if you stacked a bunch of will essences, you could maybe do it, but...
Why?
I have no idea.
Well, unless you were of a class where will is very, very important to how much damage you do.
Though even then you could stack mastery instead, so...
Well, there is that. Minor, major, and greater potions of morale and power now restore 20, 30, and 40% instead of 30, 50, and 70% over the period of 8 seconds. They now have a 2-minute cooldown. This was because the original versions I believe there was a bit of a flame war over those. A lot of people
well, you don't
complained
have
that they
to
were
use
too
these.
powerful.
You can just use a new crafted potion.
Yeah, the idea was it looked like that these were making crafted potions completely obsolete and too easy to use in the moors and stuff like that. So therefore, those were toned down a little bit, and the crafted ones were boosted up a little bit. Although I'm pretty sure that the power ones are going to be adjusted probably by a factor of 10 before the release. We'll see. There's probably going to be another build next week, and we'll see what happens to that. Monster vitality has been adjusted with the intention of making monsters a bit more challenging in mid-levels by making them closer to the current live server stats, because, yeah, the mid-level ones did go down probably a little bit too much. They didn't need to go down all that much, so therefore they're in a good range now. They're about halfway or something like that between the old and new ones, at least in the middle levels where I was doing some testing at. And expect that there might be one or two little adjustments over that in the end, unless everybody in the responses in the forum were saying that they're great or something like that. And I will have to check the temperature in the underworld if that happened. Then, also, a Destroy All button has been added to the pending loot panel with a confirmation dialogue.
I'm excited about that.
We've been wanting this for a long time, actually.
Oh, Destroy All and pending loot?
Yep.
Yes.
Because once you've gotten it down to, you've gotten everything you want out.
Yeah.
If you could just hit Destroy All instead of going through and clicking on every single one of those stupid collars that drop or allies that dropped or whatever that dropped. I'm excited for this.
Okay, so that's to get rid of those pesky allies that fill up your pending loot box. Okay,
or collars, depending on where you're at in Middle Earth.
Oh!
Like the North Downs, maybe. Or, Erdluin.
Yeah, if you've got that collar dropping and you don't actually pick it up, you end up getting like 10 to 15 to however many works you're killing collars.
Because once you actually pending loot bag with it before all 50 slots.
Once you actually pick it out of your pending loot, it stops dropping, but it doesn't stop dropping until you take it out of pending loot.
Right, and then it's
unless you filter off the quest.
Oh, so that means if you filter out the quest, it will not drop?
That is correct. If you have the quest filtered, the quest item does not drop for you. It's automatically destroyed.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if it's automatically destroyed or if it just kind of hangs around in the landscape as on the corpse or something. I'm not totally sure because I haven't tested it. But I do know that if you have the quest filtered, you don't collect the thing.
Okay, that is good to hear. Then let's head out into the LOTRO beacon, where is that elf carrying a keg?
Looks like
a small barrel at least, because it might be a bit large to be a bit small.
Oh, actually, that is the beekeeper remedy thing.
That's the beekeeper remedy?
I believe so.
Oh, okay.
Because you have to carry it all the way back.
Oh, okay, that explains why she's so close to the beehives.
All the way back from Overhill, yeah.
Very well.
Nice shot.
Then, in the community spotlight, happy second anniversary to Dienco de Milieu. Does anyone know a better way of pronouncing that? All right.
You could probably just say D and Company.
All right, D and Company. Very well. Second anniversary to D and Company. and you could read about their upcoming contest that they will hold to celebrate this milestone. Unless, of course, has that already been held since?
I don't believe so. They're coming in September.
All right. Second anniversary for DNC in...
Yeah, it starts the 27th. So it starts the day this goes live through September 9th.
Very well.
And they're on the French server, which is why it's a French name.
Well, that makes sense then. And second breakfast member Narfin will be guiding as many chickens as wish to come along in an epic journey on September 7th on Crick Hollow. And you can click there for information on there. And of course, you do have to unlock it so you could get the free range quest, because this is on the expectation. This is for the long trip, the long, what was it, 6 hours or something like that, to get the Crossroad of the Roads title. But you have to have done all the prerequisite quests in order to be able to participate in the event.
Yeah, you get an 8-hour timer, but yeah, it generally takes about 6. Free range.
Then Lena Willowwood talks about their experience previewing Update 23 on Borer. And LOTRO heavy metal band Arda is celebrating their second anniversary August 25th with a festival on Laurelland.
That's today.
Oh, yes, that was today. Never mind then, since it was on Laurelland, it's definitely well past the event.
It's over with.
Yeah. Then, let's look into the Ginhall. Sail Fair Nero is a kinship on Laurelland and is in search for new members. With a hub in Snowbourne, the kin seeks to promote and encourage all Rohirrim to return to the mark and engage in its rich story of the area. All classes, whether you're part of the Aerid, a shield maiden, or a common tradesman, are welcome to join, ensuring for interested and diverse roleplay. And message Fairwind to join. And our weekly comment is, if you could have dinner with any NPC in the game, who would it be?
Gandalf. I want to meet a wizard. And he's the nicest one. Well, maybe Radagast is nicer. But I was thinking, like, Gandalf or Saruman when I said that. But Radagast is nice, too. But I'd rather have dinner with Gandalf. Less likely to have pets at the table.
I was thinking King Thorin III because, we saw that he put out for his guests there.
That is true. He's got a lot of good food. And beverages.
And, okay, so...
Bottom of the list would be Thranduil, because they have no snacks.
Yeah, they don't have...
I'm not sure they do dinner.
I don't know, I think Eowyn would be kind of fun.
That'd be cool.
Someone in the forum said Bill the Pony. Somebody else said Sarah Oakhart and would ask her why she walks so slow.
What?
Because she's evil. Obviously, that person has not finished the epic quest because she's evil.
Yeah, unless of course they're talking about the real Sarah Oakhart that you see.
Well, we don't know that she walks that slow, because when we see the real Sarah Oakhart in flashbacks, she doesn't walk that slow.
Well, true. So we don't know how fast she walks in real life. It's
the reason she walks that slow in that instance is because she's evil.
she's trying to torture us, you mean?
She really is. Because she's evil.
Now I'm trying to think who would be a good. Build a Pony would be a good eating companion, that's for sure.
Ooh, somebody said Bingo Boffin.
Yeah, actually, Bingo Boffin might be.
Well, any of the hobbits, the food's going to be good.
Well, yes, I guess you have a point for that. The problem with doing it with Bingo Boffin is I have a feeling I'll wind up having to cook. Actually, no matter who it is, you'll probably wind up doing the cooking anyway. This is LOTRO.
That's true.
And the cleanup. Don't forget.
And the prep.
I know
you'd have to find a spot.
I know one person who I would not want to have dinner with, and that is Flour Dumpling. Mayor Wiltfoot.
You don't want stuff splashed at you?
No, the last time I went anywhere with him for a meal, I wound up having to fight away all through the hottest day of summer.
That's true.
Going through all these monsters of heat that were coming up there. And poor Penny having to carry all this stuff as we're going along. So, yes.
Good point.
I will say definitely not the mayor of the show. Now, maybe.
But you can't complain about the food because there was quite the spread.
Yes. What was left after the bugs got to it.
After the bugs and the hobbits helped themselves, yeah.
Now, maybe with his eventual successor, and I mean his permanent successor, not his temporary successor, might be better, but I suppose that's way in the future. And anyway, Sam is currently recovering from an ordeal in Mordor. Then, is that it for our weekly comment?
Oh wait, somebody said Holly Hornblower because she makes the best pies.
Oh my god.
She has to take the first bite, though, just in case she messed up again and used rotten berries.
Yes, she would have to take the first bite, most definitely.
And along the Gandalf and Bill the Pony line, someone said Shadowfax, as long as Gandalf can translate.
For our fan site news, and Dane ran part 73 of his Mordor series, and LOTRO with Mort went onto the Gladden server, and the Road Goes Ever On with the Gravity 42 had another episode, and we also had Gamelio Dan with part 133 of his Let's Play series. And you get to watch the Moose and Millers on Mondays with Gussie Moose. And we also have Stina's Shiny Show. And in the news this week, there was an update 22.5, but we pretty much discussed that all last week because
it was
basically warn changes.
Talked about last week.
Yeah. And our screenshot of the week shows one dragon that's not in very good shape.
Fingar, the greedy.
That's an excellent shot of Fingar.
It really is.
That's at the end of the raid.
Mm-hmm. You have to go into his stomach and pull out the ring.
Well, it definitely doesn't look like it's on any of his teeth.
I know, I keep looking, but I think that was just worm talk.
Well, yeah, worm. If you ever want to know the pure, simple truth, don't ask a worm. And that's it for our LOTRO Beacon. So let's head into our store sales. And Terry, what's for sale this week?
Let's see. Well, the WikiLeaks coupon is one that I don't use because it gets you combat run speed boost times 5 with coupon code speed boost now through August 30th. This is the thing that when it drops out of the Hobbit presents, I actually delete it because if you need a run speed boost in combat, you're never going to use these because by the time you remember you have these, you're not going to be in combat anymore. You're either going to be done or you're going to be dead.
Yeah, I
you've
always
gotta
forget.
A, remember that you've got them, and then B, try to figure out where in the bag they are.
You know, I keep them, and on a couple characters, I've even put them on the quick slots to remember to use them, and I still forget that I have them and can't find them. I think I've successfully used it once,
until you're either A, finished with combat, or B, dead.
Exactly.
You're in the res circle, and you're like, oh, I could have used that.
And then, I found it! Oh, the screen's gray.
Right? So the one time I used it successfully was right after a trip to the res circle. I found it in the res circle, and I was like, okay, I'm going to use this if it comes up again. And like 3 seconds later, in the same situation, it came up again. I used it, and I met the res circle again anyway because of the time it took me to use it. So
even if you remember
call that successful.
well, I used it successfully while in combat to run faster for about a half a second.
Oh, that's great.
Also, 20% off select quest packs, so now's the time to get them. 100% XP boost, Mithril coins, ooh, except I'm saving up for more character slots, and Max Morale and Power Scrolls. We need character slots to be on sale, guys. Just a hint. I need 5 more.
Though Mithril coins are on sale right now, so you can get Mithril coins so that your new characters can have a third character trait thing or whatever else they need.
Oh, I don't do that.
Can finish Epic Volume 1.
I say I don't do that. Well, I do use Mithril coins for getting through Volume 1, because I get through about half of Volume 1, and then I'm done doing all of the useless run all over the place, and I just Mithril to wherever I need to go as much as I can.
LOTRO's Players News tonight is brought to you by Draco Dragon Insurance for all your dragon insurance needs.
It is on sale right now. You can save 10% or more, especially if you happen to live in the Shire, Rivendell, Ered Luin, or Bree. Well, Amroth is also receiving a discount of 5%. Minas Tirith has a discount of 2%, not counting fires started by machines, not dragons. And Lake Town has an increase of 200%. Sorry, guys. Your prospects might be slightly better in Erebor or Dale, but no guarantees until you call for a free quote.
At least the quote is free.
Well, if a dragon gets closer to any of these areas, the prices may increase dramatically, so you should get your dragon insurance now, while there are no dragons around.
Squirrel continues his 99 Instances series with the skirmishes of Eriador, where he speaks of the Siege of Gondoman, Trouble in Tuckborough, Attack at Dawn, Ford of Bruinen, and Icy Crevasse. And we introduced Cinders to Ford of Bruinen today, so
That was pretty fun.
yeah. So therefore, he talks all about various things about all of these as usual, going into some of the history related to them. And let's see. So this covers then the rest of the ones that are in Eriador, because he did cover, of course, the 4 ones closest to Bree last week. So these are the rest of those. That leaves Emmy still to do Stormal Methodress, plus, of course, the Moria ones, then the Mirkwood ones. So there are probably... Well, I guess if he lumps the Moria ones and Stormal Methodress together as Misty Mountain
and
skirmishes.
Rescue.
Yeah, Rescue at Nurse Gashu. Oh, yeah. I wonder where he's going to put Rescue. We'll have to see. Because unless he has this big lump with all the epic ones. So therefore, he talks about a little bit of history and all that stuff with each of those skirmishes. Then we have a new player question. Arendis, what's the question this week?
This week is about raids. I know that some people really enjoy I can't talk, I'm sorry. A lot of people enjoy running raids. How do you actually join one or start one up? Is it on the same panel as the skirmish stuff? How does this work?
It is on the same panel when you want to start one, so you can just go into the panel, select it. The skirmishes are on the bottom, while the other instances are up above that. You have a category for scalable instances and one for non-scaling instances, and that includes both. And just about any size, so you have a selection for 3s, some sort of 6s, and of course some 12s, and of course the infamous couple of 24s. But yeah, so the raids are up there, and they're on usually in the category of whatever cluster they're a part of.
Okay.
For example, if you were doing a Mirkwood instance, then the section about Mirkwood instances, which are scalable instances, will be in a section that will include the Warg Pens and the Dungeons of Dol Guldur and Barad Guldur.
Barad Gularan.
No, Barad Guldur.
Is it Barad Guldur? I don't know.
The Mirkwood, the one in Mirkwood.
It's important to note that skirmishes can also be raids. You just have to set your size, unless your party is already in a raid.
Yeah.
And if you're going to do something like that, you also want to get your fellowship set as a raid, which is once you've got 4 to 5 people in the fellowship, or maximum of 6, because you can't invite more than 6, you can right-click on your character portrait if you're the raid leader, and then there's a little arrow under fellowship that says convert to raid, and then you can invite more people. So raid is anywhere from 12 to 24. Most of the raids in the game are scaled for 12. There are a couple that actually require a full 24. Dragok is one that's tier 1 is the full 24. Tier 2 will automatically set if you have 12.
Yeah, that's pretty much, as far as I know, that's the only difference between Tier 1 and Tier 2 and Dragok. Essentially, you're saying that I want more of a challenge. We don't need 24. We could do it with 12. So, yeah, but yeah, just about everyone except, let's see, the Dragon Wing in Helgorod is the other 24 player raid that's in there. Most of the others are all designed for 12.
Which is interesting because the rest of Helgorod is also a raid, but it's a 12-person raid.
Yeah,
so you don't need as many people to open it up.
Yeah. The original version of Heligrod was, of course, this massive dungeon that ended with the big dragon there. So you could bring in 12 throughout the entire thing, but they either toned down the rest of the outer areas, or the outer areas rarely needed more than 12 in them anyways. So therefore, I'm not too sure which is the story on there. I think I only did Heligrod once before they broke it up. And that was a long time ago, obviously.
Yeah, because they broke those up long time ago.
And did we answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, well, then. Therefore, let's head into our week in LOTRO. And Sans Window, what were you up to?
Well, the Bjorning that I've been leveling, who's been focusing on important quests, they've pretty much all been orange or red so far, had no troubles with Othrengroth or retaking Weathertop. Both went very smoothly, it was lots of fun. But she learned the hard way that helping Lalia might be as unwise as eating Barrowbrie, because that did not go so well. And actually, I almost deleted her and re-rolled her. But
What?
Oh no!
You almost
deleted
Lalia?
the Undying title rescuing that silly hobbit?
I lost an Undying title rescuing that silly hobbit.
No.
Yes.
Hold on. So you ran... Oh, that's right. You did say Orange Quest, so...
I actually ran Othrengroth and retaking Weathertop after that, and I switched to Yellow Line. I was in Red Line when I died helping Lalia, so that probably helped. But,
oh, yeah. Yellow is the OP line.
But I was in Red Line, and all my gear was level 5. I realized after the fact. All my gear was still level 5.
Oh my gosh.
And I think I was level 16? It was just before I would have gotten the cool title at 17. And there were like 3 other characters on landscape out there. And so I pulled, because I was trying to do the quest so I could gain some levels so that I could keep going with the epic, I pulled a crawler and something else, and then 3 whites popped up around Lalia. And the other folks who had been killing like everything in the area were suddenly nowhere around. And
what else is new?
Right?
Oops.
Yeah, that went pretty poorly. Like, it might have been okay if I hadn't like taken the 2 things I had and run back to Lalia. Like, but I ran back to Lalia, and of course, as soon as I got to her, the 3 whites popped out of the ground. And,
Oh no.
Yeah. It was bad news, especially since everything was like, deflect. Oh, that hurt you. Deflect. That really hurt you. So, yeah, that was bad. I was very tempted to just set Lolly off a few times, wandering by herself after that, but I didn't. Because there were other folks around who might want to help her. And... yeah, and my Bjorning gained some levels, so that was good. But I definitely lost the Undying title. And I tried selling dragon insurance with many pages of fine print and Rivendell bridges, free of guardrail to fix, of course. The guardrails on these are guaranteed to not break or rust or...
to just exist, period.
they're not guaranteed to exist. They're just guaranteed to be free of defects.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes. I was
read an old pamphlet or something.
Okay, being...
very
yeah,
entrepreneurial.
she has very interesting fine print.
Yes, it was very entrepreneurial questing on Thursday night with Pine and Terry. Neither of whom were interested in dragon insurance or Rivendell bridges. I even offered one that was only partially likely to dump you in the water. Anyway, that could be a new feature, guys. The bridge that dumps you off halfway across. To test your luck today. Anyway,
Part of a festival or something.
the stories that we come up with while running errands for the rulers of the northern strongholds. But it was fun, and the errands weren't too odious. So yeah, that was pretty good, and Pine and Terry convinced me that maybe I shouldn't have pages and pages of fine print if I was trying to sell something. So instead, I started offering discounts to faraway regions like the Shire and Bree, and gotta increase the base here. And then I, on the field trip, I tried my hand at Warsteed Healing, which drew less aggro than Warsteed half healing, half DPSing. So that was nice. But it does like 0 damage because there's only one damage skill, and that's to ride up and bash something over the head, and I wasn't trying to get that close to mounted things. And did some Drake hunting and some Draco slaying, which was also fun. The Wormdelf was properly emptied and omelets were made, and they were not happy, and it was great. Horrendous, how was your week?
How do I follow this up, guys? Well, today was the first day that I had logged into LOTRO, probably for over a month, just because of real life stuff. So it was kind of nice just getting back into the game and figuring things out and seeing what kind of stuff had changed and what had stayed the same. And then I promptly got really, really lost in Moria. My main
Moria?
is, I know, right? It's just a wonder, No one ever gets lost in Moria. My main is in Moria right now and was working on the Epic Story Volume 2. I think it was book 4, I think. And there's this one part where you're trying to find this one particular dwarf. And so you finally get to the general area where he is, and there's this structure that's got multiple tiers to it. And so you're supposed to go all the way down to the bottom, and he's down there behind a door. And I thought that he was up way high in the top of this thing. So I spent maybe an hour trying to figure out how to go up this structure that you're clearly not supposed to climb. But, me and my infinite wisdom thought, hey, maybe he's above me. No. So I finally figured out where he was, ran past him on accident, and then ran back, finally found him. And I was so excited. I had found him. I was ready. I was like, okay, what kind of quest have you got for me? Next quest, go way across the other side of Moria, do something, and then come back.
Yes.
I was just, I facepalmed.
I try to remember which quest are you talking about?
It was the one in, I'm probably going to butcher the name of this, but it was Menem Berej. You're trying to find, I think his name is, I can't even remember, Risky Strong something? I can't remember his name, and it's probably totally wrong, but you're basically trying to go from, I think, the delving to somewhere right above the waterworks, and then he sends you further down past the waterworks, and then you have to come back.
Yeah, you have to find the Way of Smiths.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and I couldn't find it
okay.
to save my life.
The Rink inside the way in the Way of Smiths.
Yes, I could not find him to save my life. So
well, you got to remember is that in an earlier chapter they very much established how that the goblins had gone all those hundreds of years without ever finding the Way of Smiths. So
I believe it. I believe it. But I was glad that I finally found him, so we'll see where it goes from here. Hopefully, you can't really go any further down. I mean, it's only up from here. Terry, what did you do this week?
Well, Terry Adwin helped all of Northern Mirkwood get ready for battle, because that's totally what we did, helping out the leaders with their insignificant chores. It was totally helping all of Northern Mirkwood, really. No, it was insignificant errand running, and it was a little bit irritating, only because you would think that on the eve of battle, like, there's this frost rate coming in. Do you really need? Are we sure that this little quiver of arrows is going to turn the tide of this battle?
I still maintain they were probably enchanted arrows. Like, the quiver was probably enchanted to never run out of arrows. That might mean that they were glued in, but hopefully not.
And until we were having to talk people into taking shelter, which is where the whole dragon insurance conversation started, because I actually made an offhand comment because the first guy we talked to didn't want to go, and I was like, "Yeah, I hope you got good dragon insurance." As we were going to so Sanswinda just took it as a thing, and it definitely made the rest of the insignificant errands a lot more entertaining. But yeah, Terry's kind of really done being errand girl. So hopefully next week our chapter will be a little bit more exciting.
Oh, it definitely will be. I can tell you that much.
And then I also got really lost in Moria because I logged in my challenge burglar on Arkenstone for some streaming. So this is the character that I have filtered out in the radar. I filtered out everything except for like crafting resources, not for crafting purposes, but because he uses track treasure, and that comes up as a resource node. So those are turned on. Fellowship markers are turned on, and a quest escort, like if I have an escort quest, that marker's turned on, and campfires. And that's it. And points of interest. So he doesn't have like any quest indicators of any kind, except for if he's in an escort quest, he can keep track of the person in the quest with him. And then on the actual map, he's also got red dots turned off. On the actual map, I've turned off even more things. So the only things turned on the actual map are fellowship markers, points of interest, and campfires. That's it. No stable masters, no vendors, no nothing. And then I discovered that you can turn off the numbers in your morale and power bars. So all he's got are the green and blue lines. There's no text or of any kind in there. It's just kind of a hazy indicator of where morale and power is at. Because apparently you can turn it to a percentage too. But then I discovered that you can actually just turn it off completely. So there's no text indicating how much morale and power he's got. And same thing for the bad guys. So the only clue he's got as to how much trouble he might be in is the portrait frames. Yeah, the different portrait frames when you get to like an elite or something. Yeah, so that's and so I wandered around. I was looking for these ancient record things because I discovered I had an outstanding quest from Thorak Bazan. So I wandered between Jazergund and Thorak Bazan for about an hour looking for these 4 little pages, spamming my delete key as much as I possibly could, except it wasn't really giving me anything except for the resource nodes that I couldn't pick up because he doesn't have a craft up that high because he was a Valord character. So even if he had crafting, it wouldn't be up that high. And I finally ended up resorting to LOTRO Wiki to find the coordinates so I could figure out where to go by coordinates. And then got lost all over again because that finished out my Thorak Bazan stuff, and I had already done most of Jazergun, so I went into the Fanged Pit, which is a fantastic place to get lost.
Certainly an easy place to get lost.
It's definitely an easy place to get lost. It's actually a lot of fun creeping by Maraval, because Maraval don't have like a little despair thingy that pops you out of stealth, so you can walk right next because their stealth detection is crap. So you can just, wander through there and turn one around and backstab it and then burn the nest that it's guarding, and hey, there's 3 over here. Well, I'll riddle this one and stab this one and let it bleed to death while I get the chest over here. Yeah, that was fun.
Strange, because I was I was trying to sneak pat. I was in the Fanged Pit on my burglar also this week, and they were. I remember once or twice they did see me.
Well, he's also a little bit over-leveled for that area because the names are light blue. Because he's sort of completionisting Moria.
Yeah. Because
since I don't have indicators for which dwarves have quests, I'm talking to all of the dwarves. And then on Bullroarer, Maven found a really awesome quest in Starkhelm, I think it's called, Starkhold, something like that. One of the last areas you get to, and it's a private instance on the Withered Heath, which was awesome because it's a level 120 area, and we were level 115 because she was on Glorgirl and I was on Terry, and we took the quest and we went in because Sans hadn't joined us yet. And we're running around killing all of the things. I was like, I brought a pew-pew with fire oil and I'm not afraid to use her. Because Maven was a hunter with fire oil. And it was great because she would aggro things, and once they turned around, I would get behind them and there were fewer deflects from the back. So I could actually get some hits in. And then we found the boss. So it's actually, you're supposed to be going in there to find this boss, which is kind of a scourge type thing. And we ran all over the place. And I finally jumped over a cliff and got to a different area because we couldn't figure out how to get there because there were bone walls in the way. So I jumped over a cliff because I wasn't sure if it would let me because the ways around the cliff didn't let you, but it would let me jump over. And we went up a little way and found him. And you hover the mouse over the guy, and it says it's a 3-man boss. Great! Let's get Sans, because Sans was just logging in. Yeah, it turns out that this 3-man boss, you can't actually accept it in a group more than 2.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, it stunk.
What?
Yeah. And actually, for some reason, and we have no idea why, Sans couldn't even pick up the quest from the guy. Like, the guy didn't even have a ring for her.
Well, that's weird.
It was bizarre because there's nothing that Trish and I have done, Maven and I have done, that Sans hasn't also done.
Though later I found somebody in the Isengard who had a discovery deed for all the new 3-man. Did you pick that up maybe on Terry the first week?
Nope.
Yeah, I have no idea then.
Yeah, I have no clue. So, yeah, that was my week. Finally, how about yours?
Let us begin with my burglar. And the reason why I was in the Fanged Pit is because I was searching for pages for Bingo Boffin, who seemed to be a little bit scattered in his mind. I finally found Bingo Boffin, because this is a character that was my original Bingo Boffin character, and that I had put her aside at one point because I didn't want to try to get a burglar leveled up as fast as I would have to do it when doing a weekly YouTube series showing the latest Bingo Boffin one. So I finished it off after that point with a hunter. And now I'm doing a series with my burglar, and I don't care how long it takes me to do Bingo Boffin, so therefore I'm going into here, having fun with my burglar, and starting to actually learning Blue Line, which is strange enough, because I'm starting to like Blue Line. And therefore I got to the one where I finally find Bingo Boffin. So you could just imagine, I originally lost Bingo Boffin at the earliest point you could possibly have lost Bingo Boffin if you've in the storyline, meaning when that first came out. And now this week I finally found Bingo Boffin. Bingo Boffin has been down there in the Fanged Pit for 2 years now.
Poor Bingo.
Poor Bingo.
Aww.
So therefore I found Bingo Boffin and searched for some pages. And of course, there's always the joy of finding those pages all over the place. And when I was heading towards the Waterworks. Oh, that's right. I wanted to go to the waterworks. One was so that I could do that quest where you go from the 21st hall and you're sent to the waterworks so that you can get credit. So when you're sent to the water, so you have to go to the waterworks in order to unlock the rest of the 21st hall, which is like one of the craziest things I ever heard of. So therefore, I wanted to do that quest, and I wanted to go from the waterworks to get to the flaming deep, since that's the easiest way I could think of from getting any place useful from there, because I didn't have all those other stable masters unlocked yet. So therefore, I went in to there, and on my way there, I was thinking, why don't I run the training hall? This is level 54. I just turned to level 54, so this would be a perfect thing to run because I just love running the training hall anyway. And I ran it, and all those pages that are supposed to come from orcs and warg riders. Well, it turns out that yes, the enemies in the training hall do drop those pages, and so therefore, by the time I was finished with it, the only page I had left to gather was the one from the Flaming Deeps.
Nice.
So that was really, really nice. So therefore, I found that the training hall does indeed drop those pages for you. Then on Gladden, my mid-ranged warden, I finished up Moria Book 6, in other words, the one where you do New Devilry and go to the Mirror Galadriel and all that fun stuff. And in my time in doing this, I learned that, of course, I also had to go and do one of my most disliked quests in all of LOTRO, and it's an unfortunate real pain to do, and that one is, make sure I get the name of this quest right. It is the third quest in the Warden quest series. I just hate that quest. And yeah, okay, I guess I forgot what the name was. That's the problem, is it's just such a hated quest that I keep on forgetting its name. But this third quest, you are expected to go into Offensive Strike, that's the name. Offensive Strike, where you have to go and find this signature amongst those unnamed, the nameless, in the nameless area. So it's as deep in the nameless territory as you could possibly get, way tucked in there. There's another signature in the area, and you have to go through the most painful set of mobs you could possibly think of, because it's thick with them. You usually find yourself fighting 2 or 3 of these all at the same time. Their respawn rate is pretty impressive. They summon things. There are patrollers all over the place. I just hate going through that area. But if you're playing a warden, you've got to do that quest.
Gee, I never have trouble killing that, even when I'm not on a warden.
Well, I avoid. If I'm not on the warden, I won't go anywhere near that area.
I know that area you're talking about, actually.
Good. You enjoy going there. I just hate going there.
Yeah, because I actually remember doing that on my warden. I was like, oh, that's why these guys are here. I didn't have any trouble whatsoever.
Well, it's not too much trouble. It's just that it's a real pain going through them. I just feel like it's a slog getting all the way through there.
It is definitely a slog because there's way too much stuff in that area.
Yeah. And it didn't help that I didn't have the option of porting back afterwards, because because I was doing the epic at the same time, and from there I wanted to get to the endless stair. I figured let's do 2 quests at the same time. Maybe that wasn't my brightest idea, because that's a trip you should never make 2-way, in my opinion. Unless you're in a group. If you're in a group, then it's a lot easier. But I just feel like it's just too much of a pain going through there. It's a slog. And then with the Rangers of the West on Gladden, by Main Warden there, which is level 106. So this is my Gladden high level warden, where I went with them to Barad Guldur. And we ran this I was level 106. Most of the rest of the group was 115, so we ran it at level 110. So here I am. We're running this at 110. I was a 106 warden. Now, you could just imagine that I am still level 105 geared. And you know how difficulty jumps like a rocket at 106.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, I am, at first things were going pretty well, but during the latter parts of it, those enemies were getting nastier and nastier and nastier and nastier. So therefore, let's just say, if anyone in our group was needing to work on a res deed, they got quite a number of uses out of it. So, yes. But we did finish it. We did complete the instance and winning that, which was really great. Actually, I think I did better in the boss fights than I did in the trash mobs. I think it was the trash mobs that were really nasty in that one. And after we were all finished with it, I looked at my XP, and it was just the tiniest away from 107. And I'm trying to remember what in the world did I do to just bump that up. Probably accepted some sort of festival quest or turned in. Oh, that's right. Now I remember what I did. I went to my housing neighborhood to see whether or not there were any tasks that I had items for. And it turned out that the only task item that I could find that I actually had anything for was actually from, I think it was from the Dale Lands for some reason. It was one of those Dale Land items. Those spears that you can get there from the Dale Lands. So I turned those in. Now, I did not get any rep because I was only level 106. I turned that in. It was purple. I was wondering, is this going to give me any XP? And fortunately, it did give me XP. I saw the white tree in there, and I leveled up to 107. I said, okay, I'll call it a night. Though as soon as the update 23 kicks in, I think I am going to spend some time with that character and level it. I don't really feel like slogging through Moria on that character. Through Mordor on that character with the current landscape mob level, but I think I can do it after the whole thing is over. Then maybe I could start to get some good enough gear to participate in some nastier instances. And that is my week in LOTRO. So let's see what our news beyond LOTRO is, where Middle-earth Journeys in Myth and Legend art book is coming by Donato Giancola.
Looks right to me.
And let's see, it's a 200-page, 10 by 14 hardcover book, which would have an MSRP of $39.99 to be released on January 30. And this is Middle-earth Journeys, that brings together Giancola's lifelong illustrations of Tolkien's words, which spans an entire career from the late 1980s until today. Giancola specializes in narrative realism and fantasy and science fiction art, and has illustrated Magic the Gathering and created numerous popular book covers. And he has won multiple Hugo Awards for Best Professional Artist and World Fantasy Awards in 2004 for the Best Artist. So therefore, that should be some nice artwork in Journeys in Myth and Legend. And we also have a humble RPG bundle for the Lord of the Rings RPG, which is obviously the One Ring role-playing game based on The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings by Tolkien. And in this bundle, you get the core manual, maps, campaigns, settings, supplements, and more. All right, and we also have a link in our heading thing, which is an affiliated link, just in case you wish to help us a little bit as you do so. So that is Humble RPG Bundle. We currently have 21 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to join this illustrious raid of players and help support LOTRO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. You'll find rewards, including mention on the podcast, your choice, or be a guest with us for an episode of LOTRO Players News. But I should note that Draculetta is currently working on updated rewards, and that will be announced in the near future as soon as he's decided on exactly what the new reward structure would be. We actually have an email this week from Stephen LaChapelle, who has sent us a message via Patreon. And Arendis, what did he say?
Stephen says, Sons of Numenor inviting all to Landreval for Symphony of Light. I'm terrible with Roman numerals. Is that 9?
9, yes.
Okay. Symphony of Light 9 on September the 22nd from 8 to 11:30. There's no time zone on here, but there's more information in a trailer in the below, so it's probably there.
Yeah, it is from Landreval, so usually those are server time.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure. It says, ride with us from the Shire to Rivendell in our annual tradition of honoring Bilbo and Frodo Baggins' birthday. And there's a link where you can view the trailer.
And this sounds like it's going to be literally a walk on horseback from the Shire all the way to Rivendell, along the way a little bit of music, and in Rivendell with a great deal of music and fireworks. At least that's the image. That's the impression I got from the trailer, and that fits the name that we have in there.
I've actually seen them riding out on previous occasions.
All right, and this is going to be on Landreval, and that'll be September 22nd, which is going to be the 4th Saturday. And it's going to be happening right when we're recording this show, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
If you would like to email us, you can send the email to podcast@lotroplayers.com. You could also follow us on Twitter, the Players Alliance @PlayersAlliance, LOTROPlayers @LOTROPlayers, Ariandis @Ariandis, Pineleaf @PineleafNeedles, Sanswinda @Sanswinda, and Terry Adwin @TerryAdwin. The Players Alliance has 4 shows. Every Monday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have DDO Players News. Every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have LOTRO Players News. Every other Thursday at 9:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have XP Quest. And on the first Tuesday of each month at 9:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Chromatic Bits. You can join us for our live shows at lotroplayers.com/live. And that is all for tonight. And this is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.